And we're back here again at Reed Park as the 100th annual Springfield City Am Golf Tournament, sponsored by Schuler's Bakery, is rounding up, or I guess concluding for the first day. As the after a little bit of delay, the next group has come in after, it's been a long day, as you said, 6 hours here on the course. And with me now is the owner of Schuler's Bakery, Trent Schuler. And thanks for joining me. I just had your dad on. We talked some golf, and thanks for joining us and thanks for sponsoring this great event.
It was a pleasure to do that. My father's been a big part of this event for pretty much my whole life, and of course Schuler's has been a part of Springfield for even longer than that, and so it was just great to be able to do this again.
Before we talk about golf, let's talk about the bakery a little bit. Let's give you guys a little love. How long have you guys been in business, and tell me what obviously I know what your specialties are, but tell me what your specialties are at the bakery.
Well, we actually have been in business since 1937. My grandfather started the bakery from nothing. My father and his two brothers owned and operated it for about 40 years. I've been the owner, half owner since 2005, full owner since 2007 when my father retired. He was the youngest of the brothers. And we're known for donuts. I mean, we make cakes, cookies, cupcakes, noodles, rolls, but people come to the store for the donuts primarily. Everything's made from scratch every day, fresh. Now open 5 days a week from Tuesday through Saturday. Recently, that was a change that some people were happy about, some people weren't.
I was going to ask you about that. I've heard some good reviews. It's like, you take care of your employees first.
Yep.
And you retain those employees.
Absolutely. And it was the opportunity also to make sure that anybody that worked for us that was able to go to church on Sundays, we weren't the reason that they weren't there. So
excellent. The bakeries, how many different locations do you have? I know there's one still in Urbana, because I was just at Urbana a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we actually have 3 locations in Springfield, one in Urbana, and the big Bedrock store is actually now on South Limestone. We bought an Aldi building and converted it to our production facilities about 2010, 2011, and so everything is made there. We also have a fairly sizable store on Durr Road, and then smaller stores at the original location at Main Street and in Urbana.
How are you seeing business as far as ever since COVID hit, sometimes businesses are booming, some of them are struggling, some of them are bouncing back, some of them weren't affected that much. How did COVID and the last 3 years affect you guys?
Well, it ended our wholesale business because of the margin squeeze and the cost of operation. But as far as the traditional business at the retail stores, it's been solid. The one thing I will say is it's been a challenge between the wage increases, hiring issues, as well as significant increasing costs of materials. There have been some price increases that people have talked about, but I want the product quality to stay the same.
Excellent.
I've said from the day that I owned it that without it being made the way it's made by hand from the best ingredients money can buy, it wouldn't be Schuler's.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Let's talk golf. Shot at, what you shoot, 88 today, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, I managed to stay under bogey golf by 1 stroke on the front and 1 stroke on the back, but it was a long day. My father and I and Chris really waited a lot, and that makes it tough to play. And I didn't get to play for about a week and a half between weather and work. So I came out here a little cold. I had been playing 2-3 times a week, but then you take that layoff, and I definitely showed it on a few holes.
Tell me about your round today. Do you have any holes that stick out that were good holes for you that you can talk about?
Actually, there was only one birdie in our group of 3, and it wasn't my father.
Wow.
My father got it up and down about 14 times today in 18 holes for pars. Chris had a birdie on 2, and that was the only remarkable shot. I had a couple opportunities. I left it, right on the lip, but just nothing was falling today.
We talked about the sponsorship, and I asked your dad the same question. 100 years is a long time for anything, but this is the 100th year of this event, going through what we've all gone through the last few years, and even in the past with, crazy things going on. Kurt told me that, only was war and something else was the only reason that this event didn't happen. But for every other reason, it's a staple event in this town. How important is it? And, I'm sure you see people out here you may see once a year this weekend.
Well, the other thing is it's a part of my childhood even. I can remember walking around the course with my father years ago when it alternated between Reed and Snyder. I have a lot of great memories with my friends over the years, but I also remember a lot of the older players that are no longer with us that were a part of that event when my father was still the young guy. Now he's the older guy here, but when he was the young guy, I mean, guys that I remember like Jim Stokes that played for years in the tournament were a feature, and there's just a whole crew of people that were a part of this event that made it the history that it has.
And the last question is, and I didn't even realize this, I knew he had won 8 times.
Yes.
But he was also runner-up 8 times,
Yeah.
16 times. He was one of the 2 best golfers in this event. I mean, how can you even think about that? That's amazing.
Well, it's even more amazing that the best golf that he ever played in his life was when he was on the senior
That's
tour.
what he said, yeah.
So for 10 years he didn't even play in the event, and then here 2 years ago he finished 3rd in the overall at 75 years old.
Yeah.
And I mean he thought he at that time had won second because it was a 3-way tie for second going into the last day. One day got rained out. And he came out here and jumped the other 2 guys in his group and had won. And then one of the younger kids came in and shot a 60s round and beat him by 1 stroke. He was in the group behind him.
Wow.
So it was just it's been an amazing run for him over a long period of time, and it's also just been a great tournament. I've seen some things that you just can't imagine in this tournament. I remember one time watching a guy come in who went birdie, eagle, hole-in-one consecutively on the course we just played today during the City Am.
Wow, that's crazy. You don't see that kind of stuff.
No,
you don't see, not even on Sundays on TV.
Yep, absolutely.
I guess there is another question because your dad couldn't answer this because he wasn't sure. Maybe something sticks out to you. 8 championships. You probably saw most of them.
Yeah, probably the bigger part of them.
Was there a year or was there a championship year that stands out, that you're always going to remember a shot or a hole or a situation that makes that maybe in your eyes the most memorable championship he had?
I think probably one of the best championships in terms of quality of the field would have been out here at Reed on the North Course when him and Jeff Getman were going back and forth right before Jeff Getman. Dr. Getman's son played on the mini tour for a while, and he was the young guy and my father was the middle-aged guy, and Jeff Getman and Dad just went at it, and Dad shot a 64 from the blue tees on the North Course down everywhere, and that's still, to my knowledge, that's still the course record on the North from the blue tees. I know that white tees, Josh Sine shot a 62 a couple years ago in the match play qualifier, because I had to play him the next day in the match play after he set the course record from the whites.
Maybe he was all out of energy or something.
Oh, this is even better. I had him down 1 at 9.
Did you really?
He closed me out on 16, but I had him down 1 at 9. It's hard to back up a great round like that. But
yeah, I get you. So that's a great memory.
Yeah.
Watching that, and obviously he turned 77 Monday, and
Yep.
he still looks like he can play.
Yep. Yeah, actually, he didn't play well today for him either.
That's what he
He's
said.
been playing phenomenal. He had several 60s rounds in a row and was just hitting the ball tremendously. And for whatever reason, none of us really played particularly well. Might have been a little bit of the pace, but I think there's just some days you're on, some days you're not.
Yeah, kind of like life.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? Trent Schuler, the owner of Schuler's Bakery and the sponsor of this 100th anniversary Springfield City Amateur. Thank you for joining me.
Hey,
Good luck
thank you for
tomorrow.
having
Have
us.
fun.